Here we have a SAT math question. Okay, let's go with the information. What is the sum of the measures of the marked angles in the figure above? Okay, in the given figure over here, we have three marked angles. One is over here, and the other one is over here, and the third one is over here. Okay, now to get the sum of the measures of the marked angles, what I have to do is I have to find the measure of each marked angle. Then we have to add them all. Okay, now let me consider the first marked angle over here. And let me assume the angle measure over here as x degrees. Okay, already we know that the angle of full circle is 360 degree. Now, from this angle of full circle 360 degree, if I want to get the measure of this marked angle over here, what I have to do is I have to subtract this angle measure x from the angle of full circle 360 degree. So then the measure of the first marked angle over here is 360 degree negative x. Okay, now let me assume the angle measure over here as y. And we know that the angle of full circle is 360 degrees. Now to get the measure of the marked angle over here, what I have to do is I have to subtract the angle measure y over here from the angle of full circle, that is 360 degrees. So the measure of the marked angle over here is 360 degrees negative y. Let me write the stuff over here. 360 degrees negative y. Okay, now let me assume the angle measure over here as z. And now to get the measure of the marked angle over here, what I have to do is I have to subtract this angle measure z from the angle of full circle 360 degrees. So the measure of the marked angle over here is 360 degrees negative z. Okay, now I got the measures of all the three marked angles over here. So according to the question, I have to add them all because we have to find the sum of the measures of the marked angles. Now let me add them. So now let's evaluate this expression. So when I add this 360, 360, 360, I am getting 1080 degrees. Now we have negative x, negative y, and negative z. Now let me write it 1080 degrees. Since all the three quantities we have over here are negative, we can factor negative sign out. When I factor negative sign out, then I have to change the sign of each of these three terms. All the three terms are negative. When I change the sign for all the three terms, then I am getting positive x, positive y, positive z. Okay, now our aim is to get the value of this expression x positive, y positive, z. Then it has to be subtracted from 1080 degrees to get the sum of the measures of the marked angles in the given figure. Okay, now let me go to the figure here. So already we know that the measure of the angle over here is x degrees. So what about the measure of the angle over here? This is also x. Because the angle measure over here, the angle measure over here are vertical angles, so they are congruent. That means that they are equal in measure. Okay, now let's go to this one. So here we know that the angle measure over here is y. So the measure of angle over here is also y, the same reason, vertical angles. And the measure of angle over here is z. So because this one are vertical angles. Okay, now let's consider the triangle we have over here. In this triangle, we have three interior angles, x, y, and z. In any triangle, the three interior angles will always add up to 180 degrees. That is x positive, y positive, z equals to 180 degrees by angle sum property of triangle. Okay, now what we can do is we can plug in this 180 degrees for this x positive, y positive, z and do the final evaluation. That is 1080 degrees negative 180 degrees. Okay, when I subtract 180 degrees from 1080 degrees, I am getting 900 degrees. Okay, now I got the sum of the measures of the marked angles in the given figure. That is 900 degrees. We find 900 degrees in answer choice B. So the correct answer choice for this question is B.